Good morning, class. Today we're going to read a story titled Little Red Riding Hood. While we're reading this story today, we're going to focus on some cause and effect relationships. Why things happen because of something that you did. So we're going to be thinking about that today while we're reading this story, Little Red Riding Hood. There once lived a girl named Little Red Riding Hood. Everyone called her Red. One day, Red's mom asked her to take some cake to Grandma. Go quickly through the woods and do not talk to strangers. You see how I got loud because of that exclamation mark? Mom said. Now don't forget the two quotation marks. Here, here means someone said something. So we know Mom said to her, go quickly through the woods and do not talk to strangers. In the woods, though, Red met Wolf. Where are you going, child? Wolf asked. I'm taking cake to Grandma's house, she said. Wolf looked at Red and licked his lips. I'm thinking aloud and I'm remembering her mother said, don't talk to strangers, so maybe she should not have said anything. He decided he would eat Grandma for lunch and Red for dessert. Where does Grandma live? Wolf asked. Farther on in the woods, under the three large oak trees, Red said. She's giving that Wolf too much information, guys. Wouldn't your grandma like some pretty flowers? Wolf suggested. Red bent down to pick some flowers. While she picked, Wolf ran straight to Grandma's house. So think about that. Cause and effect. While she picked the flowers, the wolf went to Grandma's house. He went to Grandma's bed and swallowed her whole. He dressed himself in her clothes, pulled on her cap, then he laid himself in her bed. Page 10. When Red arrived, she went to the bed. Grandma, what big ears you have, Red said. All the better to hear you with, child, Wolf said. Page 11. Grandma, what big eyes you have, Red said. All the better to see you with, child, Wolf said. Oh, Grandma, what a big mouth you have, Red said. All the better to eat you with, Wolf roared. Then he swallowed up Red flowers, cake, and all. Wolf lay down again in the bed and fell asleep. Inside Wolf's stomach, it was dark and crowded. Look at all the things that's inside the wolf's stomach. Grandma, Red, a sheep, and flowers, and watermelon and cake. Inch by inch, Red lifted her clump of flowers, and she tickled the wolf's throat until he coughed her up. Now think about that cause and effect. She tickled his throat, and then he coughed her up. Red grabbed into Grandma's hand and pulled her out too. Wolf was still asleep. They tied him to Grandma's bed. Then Grandma and Red sat down for tea and cake. When Wolf awoke, you can be sure he didn't get any. Wow. I like this little Red Riding Hood story. And we also have an activity that we're going to complete. I'm going to help you with one of them, but I don't want to tell you all of the answers, but I'm going to help you with one of them. So if you look at the top, it's going to tell you some of the causes and some of the effects and the relationships in the story. Okay, the first one says, Wolf runs to Grandma's house. They tied Wolf to the bed. Wolf coughs up Red. Wolf dresses in Grandma's clothes and gets in her bed. Wolf knows Red is taking Grandma's cake. So now, we have to find where do we put these cause and effect relationships. So one of your rectangles says, Red stops and picks flowers. So while, if you remember when we're reading the story, while Red stops and picks flowers, Wolf runs to Grandma's house. That is the effect. He ran to Grandma's house. So you're going to use all of the statements that they have here, and you're going to fill in the missing. Sometimes it's going to be a cause, and sometimes it's going to be an effect. So you can complete the cause and effect relationships from reading The Little Red Riding Hood. And we'll go over it one more time the one I did for you. So when Red stops and picks flowers, the wolf runs to Grandma's house. Let's do one more. Red tickles Wolf's throat, and what happens because of that? Wolf coughs up Red. When Red tickles Wolf's throat, then Wolf coughs up Red. So basically, you're just telling what happened as a result of some of the events in the story. Have a good day, guys. Thank you for taking the time to read with me.